Hi, my name is Gordon Beaming, and in this video I'm going to show you how to migrate SVN and TFVC repos to Azure DevOps as Git repos. You might be asking yourself, but why, when reading the title of this video? And in this case, the why is that sometimes you don't just want to do a source tip and then seal off the history in the previous source control system. Using these tools, you'll be able to bring the long twisted history along with you to the great world of Git. Okay, so if you've seen my previous video on migrating Git repos, you'd be familiar with the demo project that I'm using. Basically what I've just gone and done here is put a copy of that at the SVN repo. If we take a look at that, the revisions quickly, you can see there's 3 of them. I did initial add. I made 2 modifications, so here's one of them. So you can see basically all I've changed is I've uncommented one line of code and commented the other line of code. The tool that we're going to be using for this is the Git SVN tool, which you can see there, and that is built into the Git tooling. So if you install the latest version, that's the version that I'm currently using. I found every time I need to do this, I always need to update my tooling. So best advice is probably update your tooling before trying this. Okay, so we're going to just open up Azure DevOps along, and we'll switch to the Windows terminal, where we'll use that Git SVN tool to clone our SVN repo. This is going to bring down every revision from the SVN repo as a git commit locally. You can see there's our files, there's our different commits. If we look, we've got that SVN git folder, which if we look inside there we can see our files, and if we do a SVN info there, you can see our latest commit matches up with what we saw inside repo browser. Okay, so next we're going to go ahead and create a new repo in Azure DevOps called SVN to Git. We won't use the README. We'll create that repo, and this time we're going to use the push an existing repo from command line snippet. We'll go ahead and copy that, go back into our command line, paste that command in, and that will push our commits up to Azure DevOps. So if we go back to Azure DevOps and we just hit refresh quickly, you can see our codes there. There's the history for our code. If we take a look at that second revision again, you can see there our changes are. Let's just look at this quickly side by side, just so it matches sort of the view we looked at in the other compare. There you can see that's our changes. Okay, so next we're going to do the same thing, but this time moving from TFVC. So you can see as a TFS version control repo, there's a bunch of chain sets. I basically manually uploaded each file into, or each folder into here, and then each sort of directory of files in. So if we just go ahead and edit this assembly.cs just to create one change, I guess, we'll update the version to 1.1 and hit commit. Just we've got another chain set on top of that from right now. If we look at the history, we can see it's in there. Okay, so the tool we're using for this is the Git TFS tool, which you can install using Chocolatey. Basically just open, if you do use Chocolatey, open command line, run as admin, install Chocolatey, and then if you're in a new Windows terminal, you'll be able to use that from the command line. Okay, so back in Windows terminal now, we're going to do a git TFS clone, pass in the account path and then the path to our TFVC project, and you can see it's doing a very similar thing where it's bringing each chain set down and making it its own commit. We go back to Azure DevOps again. We'll go again and create another repo, this time called TFVC to Git. Again, we don't need the README, and we'll click create. We'll copy that same snippet again, We'll paste it in here, but I forgot to go back into our directory. So we'll just switch to legacy apps, make sure we're in the right place, paste those same commands in. You can see that's pushed our changes up to Azure DevOps. So if we now go ahead and refresh, you can see there's our files. This is in a Git repo. And if we look at the last change we made, so the assembly info, you can see our changes there. There's a lot more switches and toggles with both the Git SVN and Git TFVC tools that allow you to bring your branches from both sources, a bunch of other configurations as well, which allows you to bring the larger projects across if you need to. Just keep in mind that with those larger projects, you can have a very big Git repo, and you might want to really consider if you do actually want to bring that verbose history across your Git project. Thank you for watching this video on how to migrate SVN and TFVC repos to Azure DevOps as Git repos. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments, catch me on Twitter, or visit my profile page, beaming.dev, to see where else I am on the internet. Cheers.